Wordshop. I'm Nathaniel Gaston, and this is Nathaniel Gaston's Writers Workshop. We're here every Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg with 7PM-9 and Brother Chris Thomas, who is the founder of The Voice. And as you can see, that wonderful collage that he put up for us. Some of my favorite writers featured right there. Some of them I've met in person and all that good stuff. And so that was a great piece, Chris. Thank you so much. Have with us today, Sin, an up-and-coming poet, soon to be published poet. And I'm so glad that we found each other, and Sin reached out to me, and spelled C-Y-N, by the way, Sin. And Sin, thank you so much for reaching out to me, and I'm looking forward to this conversation tonight and hopefully introducing some of your poetry to the audience. Is that all right?
Good. That'll be perfectly fine.
All right. So let's get right into it then. Are you a resident of Harrisburg?
Why, yes, I am.
Okay. Tell us about that. So you grew up and you went to school here and all that good stuff?
It's so funny. When it actually comes like to where I came from, my default is always Harrisburg, but
Let me,
I mean,
let me say your voice is kind of going in and out. I don't hear you too clearly.
oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. That's good.
Okay, perfect. What I was saying was it's actually funny because my default is always to say I was born from Harrisburg, but if I'm gonna be factual, I was what, a baby in Philadelphia. I was about what, 3 years old in Middletown, and then the most conscious years I can recall was just in Harrisburg. So I was just say I'm just a Harrisburg bound person.
Okay, real good then. And I don't know your age and all that good stuff. Are you still in school? You out of school?
I am currently 23 years old, and I just graduated from Shippensburg University.
Whoa, good old ship. All right. I don't know if you mentioned that to me or not, but that's fantastic. Good stuff then. What did you major in?
So I originally went there to be an art major because art more than anything was like a core part of me. But then I want to say towards the second half of my sophomore year, I decided to venture off into English. From
Mhm.
there, from there, I graduated with a bachelor's in both English with a minor in
I heard a bachelor's in English and a minor in
and a minor in art, sir.
art. Oh, wonderful. Wow. Good for you. Good for you. Hope you get a chance to meet one of our writers. She just comes on real late. She's originally from Trinidad, but she lives in New York now. But she's also a very, very good poet. But also she's dabbled in paintings now, and has gotten quite good at it. And so her name is Lucille Powder, and she has a show on this station every Saturday morning, I believe, from 11:30 to 12. And maybe she'll get a chance to interview you one day too. I don't know. We'll see about that. But there are plenty of people on this platform that are always looking for, guests and all that. Now, I don't know if you can adjust your microphone just a little bit. It's still a little bit fuzzy, but I mean, I hear you, but I just want to make sure you get as much in as you possibly can. And I want to say good hello to Brother Neil Owens. Neil, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Nate? Hello,
Doing
hello,
good, good.
hello.
Yeah. Doing great, man. Glad you came on. This young man right here, this young person right here is Sin, and Sin is a recent graduate of Shippensburg University, 23-year-old, aspiring writer. He's a poet.
Okay.
And I always, you told me the proper pronouns. I'm working. Okay, it's a work in progress. I'm sorry, but Sin is a poet, and looking forward to being published very soon. Is that right, Sin?
That is correct, sir.
All right. And Sin is spelled C-Y-N, by the way. And that's the pronunciation. Yeah, Neil, you want to introduce yourself to Sin, tell them what you do?
How you doing, Sen? Yeah, I am a independent author. I'm currently working on my fourth piece, and good to meet you. This is your first book that you plan on releasing.
That is correct.
Are you self-publishing?
Um, is that what I would call it? I'm actually working through Terry Martinez, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Terry's does T-Dub Publishing, and Terry's kind of our official publisher for the Writers Workshop as well.
Okay.
And you know, our oldest daughter. I have to always put that caveat in there. Anyhow, that's what Terry is. And so, yeah, but anyhow, Neil is a novelist and has some very good, you know, works out. And in fact, you have something that's planning. You plan on coming out in September. Is that correct, Neil?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the Rise and Fall of the Fourth Reich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Hey, by the way, let me say this. The latest, well, not the latest, actually, we revised an old anthology of the Writers' Workshop. One of the first ones. It's called Beyond the Surface. It's now available on Amazon, both in hardback and soft cover. And it features some really great poetry and poets from the past. And people are still active with the workshop. But yeah, but anyhow, it's called Beyond the Surface. And if you're interested, please you know, check it out. I think you'll be very pleased with that collection. Done a long time ago, and a lot of people have gone on to do pretty great things. So anyhow, good stuff. Sin, so you know, we want to interview you tonight a little bit, man. You know, tell us a little bit about um your proposed book that's coming out. Do you have a title for it yet? And you know, kind of a direction that you want to take it in?
So I know at the moment I told Terry that I wanted because this has been something planned. I want to say around the time of Christmas, but I told her that since graduating, just trying to get a handle on finances. I just told her like around late March, early April, I would come back to tell her my plan once I actually got a good homeostasis on just like, you know, ducks in a row, um, how I need to budget, et cetera, et cetera. Once I really just got more acquainted with my new adult life now that I no longer have any schooling.
Mm,
As far as my book is concerned, we have not got to a title yet. We're mostly at the stage of just trying to make sure we have a decent lineup of either between, which I'm still going back and forth because not to be a crazy long book, but I at least want. But if I am going to make it short, I want to make sure like yeah either the 6 or 12 poems I choose each actually leaves something worth being like okay this was a very short book, but I'm glad that each one of them has something to talk about, think about.
okay.
I would actually
So you know, I don't want to keep harping on this, but I do know you came on here to be heard. And Neil, are you having a hard time hearing Sin?
I can hear him, not as well as I would like to.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you can do to, yeah, okay, real good. Yeah, you want to make that adjustment because people want to hear you, I'm
Hear me
sure.
now?
Oh, no, that's much better. Yeah. Say
Yeah,
something
much
else.
better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
that's much better. Yeah, there
yeah.
you go.
My sincerest apologies. These headphones, great sound quality, terrible microphones, but
Yeah,
great
yeah,
sound
yeah.
quality.
Terrible microphone. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyhow, but I got the gist of what you were saying. You're talking about possibly bringing out a small, you know, maybe perhaps a small with about 12 poems or something like that. You said you want to
A
repeat that
maximum,
again? Mhm.
of course. Um, what I was trying to say was I'm not trying to make a super long book, and I would probably say at its shortest it would be six. It would be six great poems, and then at its max maybe 12.
Okay, I got you. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good enough. And there are a number of people who are doing that kind of work, you know, where they keep it short but powerful. You know, that's good stuff. And just for the sake of again, I send you. It was born in Philadelphia but raised here in Harrisburg, is what I think I heard you say.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Uh-huh. Okay, good, good. Did you go to which school did you go to around here?
So I want to say, man, now I'm really thinking back. I think I bounced between I was mostly at Ben Franklin. I think for 1 year I was at Camp Curtin, but most of my time was at Ben Franklin. By the time it was high school, I went to SciTech, and then
Okay.
college I went to Shippensburg University. Actually,
Good, good, good.
fun fact, I actually was planning on going to the Lancaster College of Art and Design,
Mhm. All
but
right. Mhm.
then they told me that they had no dorms. The tuition was already disgustingly high, so choices had to be
Yeah.
made.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, no question about it. Good old side tech. Somehow I kind of remember seeing that or something that I guess was introduced to me. Maybe Terry mentioned that to me. But I always tell folks I was the first counselor at side tech.
Really?
Yeah, the first 2 years I worked with Lisa Waller, Miss Lisa Waller. And then when she passed, I actually did her eulogy, for her homegoing at her request. Yeah, but it was quite a dynamic beginning for that school. And I still stay in touch with a few people. You would know, but Shanita Baltimore, she graduated from Sci Tech, was the first graduating class of Sci Tech, and then went on to graduate from Princeton, and she's became Teacher of the Year with Teach America and all that stuff. Lives down outside of Philly. Just a dynamic person, and so many others I see all the time. In fact, the young man is assistant principal there now. He was one of those students as well in that group. And so outstanding stuff, outstanding school. I think Sci Tech, has some very special students, and obviously you were one. Okay, your last name is, am I seeing that correctly? Is your last name Fraser?
Correct.
Yes, Sin Fraser. Okay, very good then. All right. Well, listen, do you want to introduce yourself by doing some of your works, and I'm gonna see if Neil will do the same. Maybe just so that you'll get a chance to get a flavor of some of his work. But if you could read something for us, we'd appreciate it.
Sure. Okay, perfect. So, fun fact, I was actually working on this one today. I actually got like this huge burst of inspiration in honor of excuse me, Dr. Seuss's birthday. I got inspired and I wanted to produce a very, how am I gonna describe this? I want to say a bit more deep rhyming poem about about like an ongoing thing that I've been experiencing and just been very much conflicted on.
Okay. Very
I
good.
haven't given it a title yet, but I have the body if I may read it.
Please do. Mhm.
Okay. Everyone can still hear me?
Oh yeah, very loud and clear. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. 1, 2, 3 in the morning I laid, reflecting on decisions, my actions of the day. Perhaps I was harsh, merciless, I thought. But when mm, but when familial ties rot, does it matter what they brought? I'm blessed with a roof, an affordable way. At the cost of my health, I sighed, what a day. Am I wrong to want more? A more that's so small. To break free from my fetishes where trees were made to fall. Silence, I barked. It's an utter disgrace. How dare you make space for what villainize your race? But blood's thicker than water, that's why you have a father. But a mother should know the difference between love, not smother. Have you ever questioned, considered you were wrong? No thought was too long. I yearn to be wrong. So what's with the venom? I'm quick. So what's with the venom? I'm quick to exclaim. Is it the fame to say your name if it's a name you chose to claim? 1, 2, 3 in the morning I laid, reflecting on decisions, my conflictions that day.
Hmm. That's okay. And what inspired you to write that piece?
So so long story short, to anyone going into college, do not use Sally Mae. Um, Monthly payment is terrible. On top
Mhm.
like the fact the economy does on top of the fact the economy does not make it like easy to find like affordable living on top of it.
Yeah.
So just like a lot of people, well, young people nowadays, I'm currently residing with my parents. They were very thoughtful. I'm grateful to them, very sweet. I'm
Mhm.
also not going to act like probably how like a lot of people experience during like the time of COVID when you do spend like a lot of time around like the same people, things can get a bit fatiguing.
Mhm.
And this has been like a big noticeable sticking point as of late, as we tend to sometimes go back and forth. And I personally don't like having like a back and forth, but I'm very much conflicted because I know I know what I mostly see isn't false, but I also recognize I could be very much misreading things, or like I don't really get the full story, which is usually which is usually like the vibe I actually try to go into. Like I never really tried to present myself as a type person who's gonna like say like, you know, what I believe is like, you know, this firm, like this firm thing. Like I can very much recognize just as a person who's both growing up and also has autism, I could be wrong. And you know what? I want to be wrong because you know what? I want to become the best person. And that honestly starts with me being able to be humble, well, to be brave enough like to have a stance and say it, but also be humble and ready enough to be like, hey, if I'm genuinely wrong, talk with me. We'll have a nice little coffee with it. Just let me know what I misread and we can definitely grow from there.
Good enough.
And
Good
I
enough.
wanted to, and I very much want like this poem to just kind of capture like that conflicting. I have a stance. This is what I see, but don't get me wrong. If this poem turns out to be like badly aged, I'll be happy. This is one like those moments where it's like I want to be wrong about like you know how it's been.
Right, right, yeah. I appreciate that you also introduced the element of autism, and you did say you're dealing with that as well.
Yes, I've been
Mhm.
born with it, but I was least fortunate enough to be on the higher end of it. So I would say like at a bare minimum, it just comes down to social cues are a bit difficult,
Mhm. Yeah,
but
yeah.
they've been like a bit more of like a noticeable problem since I actually attended college and graduating. So
Mhm.
especially now with like things like not being like the best at home, I just wanted like
Yeah,
to write a poem that kind of like got across just kind of how like my headspace operates some nights when
yeah.
I just generally process about how like a certain interaction goes. Like, was I right? Was I harsh? Did I have a real point? Was this just younger angst?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Okay, very good, very good. I appreciate you being so, transparent with that. We've actually had other experiences. There were two young people who assisted us when we did a program at the State Museum. Their mother's a medical doctor, and she, said, "Hey, I have two children, one female, one male. One was a senior, I believe, or maybe a junior at Elizabethtown College, and the other one was like a sophomore. And they were both highly academic, they were doing very, very well, but they were in the lower end, or in the middle maybe of the autism spectrum. I mean, you could see some noticeable, challenges and things, but the one played the harp like a savant. I mean, she was really, really, really good. And then the young man was extremely shy and everything, but he was high functioning as far as his academics. But as far as communicating, you could see that you could feel the struggle. But both of them embraced the arts though, which was really great. And then we had another young man who came, and I don't mind saying his name, Anthony. Anthony came to us with a worker. I remember when he first joined us, he was a grown man and everything, but he came and he had sort of like a childlike quality, but he wrote this wonderful poetry. And at first, you thought, okay, what's he gonna, but he really embraced poetry, and it sort of brought something out of him. And he's always been, sort of connected. We haven't seen him in a while, but I see him every now and then out there doing this thing, whatever. But so just because you have a quote unquote situation, I won't even call it disability. That's not the right word anymore. Situation. That doesn't mean that you can't, overcome it or live with it or do something and still function very high. So I'm just glad you shared that with us. And I like your poetry, by the way, and I want to hear some more of that. So, but let's turn to Brother Neil right now too. And one of the things we try to do on here, I send is to, read and inspire one another, talk about the process of writing and publishing, and have a platform for persons like yourself to come on and, get your feet wet. Okay. And so we encourage you to keep on doing, get published, and we'll give you as much time much play as we can to put you on here. So anyhow, and there may be some others that might join us tonight too. We'll see. Neil, platform's yours, man. By the way, you remind me of Richard Roundtree, brother. You got that whole look going on. What's going on here? I'm
Yeah.
serious. You look a lot like Richard Roundtree, brother, who we just lost, in fact. One of my favorite dudes. Yeah. Okay. But
Yeah.
tell just and especially want Cindy to hear some of your work because I know, hopefully it did this inspire him as well. You mind reading a little piece for us and tell us about one of your novels?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually read something from my debut novel. This
Okay.
is it here, Mirrors of Life.
Oh yeah.
This won 3 awards. I'm very very excited about that. I wasn't expecting it. Wasn't expecting that to happen on my debut work,
Mhm.
but it did. So and it's a story about a young Black woman who's a teen, and she's a part of generational welfare. Her family is in generational welfare. She becomes pregnant at a very young age, at 14, and she has an awakening, a spiritual awakening, sort of. And she wants to break that cycle of generational welfare with her children. So she teaches them that education is the way to escape poverty and to jump over the barriers that confine many of our youth to juvenile delinquency. So she teaches them this path, and one of them becomes a venture capitalist. And a venture capitalist is the type of person who wants to invest in businesses to make them grow. So he wants to empower Black communities. So he's focusing on Black communities and Black businesses, small Black businesses, and getting them up and running.
Mhm.
His big challenge he faces is that he's surprised that there's a lot of Black people opposing him.
Hmm.
He expected white people to be against him, of course, the big powers that be, but he was surprised to find Black people opposing him.
Yeah.
So this scene is about him. He meets this man who he wants to partner with, who he feels he can help him accomplish what his goal is.
Mhm.
The gentleman's name that the young man who's the venture capitalist is Derek, and the gentleman he meets, his name is Xavier. Xavier puffed, lifted his chin, blew two circles, and his eyes followed the smoke with an inscrutable expression. Seconds of silence passed as if the room was empty. Derek leaned forward, took a sip, and leaned back, unfazed by the disposition. Xavier slid a thumb under his chin and rubbed the top of his goatee with the side of his index finger. I'm 56 years old. I was too young to prance with Dr. King, but I'm ready to get up into the mix of action to empower Black community. My concern is you. I'm not sure you realize what's ahead. I know what's ahead. It's life or death. That's right. And in between are people, places, and things. You can't trust a man because he's Black. You can't trust your brother because he's your brother. On this road, your ilk isn't flesh or blood, but soul. And it's not easy to decipher a person's soul on this path because unfamiliar faces are professionally trained to make you believe their lies are true. And some of the familiar faces are turncoats. Derek's eyes were attuned to every word. I know why we met. Looking straight at Derek, Xavier leaned forward and thrust his cigar into the unfinished glass of scotch. He claps his hand. Why? I've read books and attended seminars, but none of that knowledge can compare to you. I need a partner. I believe it's you. I'm the spook who infiltrated the CIA. You're the one when he left. Stop there.
Mhm. Hmm.
When he referenced up there, the spook, that's reference to a book and a movie called The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Oh, yeah, Sam Greenlee. Oh yeah.
By Sam Greenlee,
Yeah.
who is the person that really inspired me the most.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
And that's about a Black guy who the CIA wanted to bring in a Black person into the CIA because of the laws and what's it called? Can't think of the word it's called, but they wanted to bring in a Black person into the CIA. They felt they had to bring in a Black person to the CIA.
Mhm.
So they had a bunch of candidates, and they went through all this training and taught them all these things. And this one candidate was smart enough to know that these people was listening to everything they were saying, watching everything they did.
Yeah.
He was aware of that. And the other ones weren't. And so they ended up liking this guy. He seemed to be the perfect yes man, the perfect house Negro is what he appeared to be. They had him working down in the Xerox room. And he was Xeroxing all of this top secret documents and everything. He had he was getting everything. He absorbed it and kept it. And then when he was ready, he left the CIA and he started a revolution.
Yes, he did.
That's what he did. He went to Chicago and he started a revolution.
Yeah.
That was a great movie, man.
It's a great movie, man. I know. Yeah. Ooh. Good stuff, though. So, tell, for Sin's sake, because I know some of your backstory, you unfold packed it for us. But how you got started, man, and when you started writing, and how you selected a publisher and all that good stuff. So, because Sin's going to be, Sin already has a publisher, but he may want to explore as well, and the whole bit. So.
Well, I wrote my first book in the 5th grade. I remember actually my first story in the 5th grade, but like I said, I didn't consider writing my profession. And I ended up, after 35 years of working with at-risk youth, I decided to fulfill my passion, man, write a book. I mean, it was there and I was like neglecting it, and God told me, man, it's time to do it. So it was a 5-year process. I had to go through a lot of things with people criticizing me, man. And I went to all kinds of writing communities, and, because there's a lot of artwork to writing and technical stuff. So I went into a lot of that and went and criticized, man. I had all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, I had all kinds of criticism, man, all kinds of stuff and that's some positive, constructive criticism too. A lot of good people helped me and things of that sort. So I stuck with it, believing in myself, believing in my work, trusting in what I was doing, and listening to people and taking what they said. I looked at it and said, okay, looked at it. Yeah, I knew what to say. Okay, this is right. Let me try that. And other than I say, no, I ain't put that away. And but I never forget when I went on this Facebook community, and I had finished my book, and I just went on there to, just to sample it out because it was already fully edited and was ready to go. But I just put it out there just to see what people thought. The writing community, and oh man, they ate my stuff up, man. It's how bad it was, how terrible the writing was, everything. And was this black girl who was the loudest of all of them.
Yeah,
it was a black girl on there, one of the people. I mean, she was tearing my stuff up more than anybody, more than the white people were doing it. I was just wild. But I stuck with my thing. Nobody, I mean, I didn't, I didn't back down.
Right.
But and as it turned out, like I said, that book won 3 literary awards.
Good.
It won 3 literary awards. I mean, and prominent. 2 of them are very, very prominent. The Reader's Favorite and the International Book Award. So he was very prominent. And it's like when you I was going to go the traditional publishing route. That was going through an agent, looking for agents, all that. That was a whole lot of work. But I found an agent, and the agent told me that once the contract is signed, I no longer had rights to the book.
Wow.
I mean, I no longer had editing rights. I mean, it was my book, and it was going to be under my name, and I would get the money that would come from it, but the book could be changed. I mean, it could be whatever they wanted to take out, they could take out.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that to happen. It was just, it was too important to me to do that. So I said, no, I'm going to go ahead and go to traditional. I'm going to go ahead and become an independent author, and I'm going to self-publish my work.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, research, and went into self-publishing. Got on, you can self-publish on Ingram Sparks. If you want your book to be available in bookstores.
Yeah.
If you want it to be available in the library, then
Mhm.
you go to Ingram Spark,
Okay.
and you can self-publish it. You can publish it right there, and that will make. They may not have your book in stock at that bookstore,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
once they look your name up, you tell them the title and everything, they look it up. They say, "Oh, I can order this."
All
But in
right.
Amazon, if it's just through Amazon, no, they won't.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't. They won't pick it up. But if it's on
Mhm.
Through English Spark, they'll pick it up. The library, all that can pick it up.
Fantastic.
But you know,
Good.
Amazon. The thing is about English Spark is also Amazon also posts those books as well from English
Okay.
Spark. So yeah, part. So
Okay.
you know, English Spark is a good place to go when you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to, start making sure that happens for anything I put out. Because I wasn't familiar with it, and I think until you brought it up the first time was the first time I heard it. And then Ro Brady talked about it as well. And so I was like, okay, I get it, So let me switch over back to Sin for a minute here, Sin. So having heard that, and some of the struggle and everything, how has your poetry thus far been received? And you know, tell us about that, about your journey.
Well, I've been actually writing poetry back, I want to say, junior year of high school. They weren't necessarily the best because teenager angst, I can only really get as deep as teenager first world problems can go. But I did remember I participated a lot in the Axel competition, mostly mostly for like mostly for like my artistic abilities, but I did remember I think it was either senior year or junior year, I decided to put some of my poems in and just see what happens. I
Mhm.
think I think if I remember correctly, two of them won. It wasn't gold. I think it was silver. They were probably two of like my best works. If I knew I was going to be asked that, I would have definitely brought it out right now because I was actually quite proud of it.
All right. Mhm.
And then I did not really start to get more into it until I actually made a transition into English and I started actually having poetry classes. And with me experiencing, so here's the thing about me. I love communication. Communication has just been kind of like my most defining factor. When you grow up like with autism, I know like with a lot of kids at like a very young age, it can hit you. It can pretty much hit you like a truck. So there is like this push to just try to learn how to help people understand what you're feeling, what you're going through, so you can still smoothly navigate amongst like other people who are not in a similar position as you.
Yeah.
So when I was like a kid, it mostly came down to things like art therapy, drawing it out, just trying like visually, just try to visually portray what I was going through, what I was thinking. As I
Mhm.
got older and the situation finally got a bit more complex, I found that poetry was a much more better outlet, and I kind of just built from there
Mhm.
to actually tie this back to where I am now with wanting to publish a book. Senior year of college is not a year I look on fondly for reasons that, at least for right now, I don't want to get into. But long story short, it was a very rough year.
Okay.
Um, it definitely felt climactic. I will say that, for better or for worse. A lot of loose ends got tied up, but
Okay.
I can say that was definitely the year I started to write the most. That's where I got like the most topics from. As I started to just process my whole 4 years at Ship and just started writing poems based around different ideas. I want to
Mhm.
say my first two standouts was, you had one poem that actually was, it was like a fun little inspiration from a friend of mine who described the university as almost like being in like this abusive relationship,
Mhm.
like it has issues. What college doesn't, but you
Yeah.
always find a reason to come back. And I kind of wanted to explore that, especially considering how, again, did
Mhm.
not have like the best ending upon graduating. So I was like, let me just see what I can do with that one.
Okay.
Um, so I guess I will say what stood out to me and what I know is still on like my mind is, I've been very much like I've very much followed like a lot of different type of artists. Not so much poets, but I've definitely been like around and just seeing like different indie, like different indie people go out there and put their work, see fame. I know my biggest fear as I actually get closer to actually finalizing a book is definitely how it's going to be received. I mean, I want to say most of my topics are going to be centered around interpersonal, social, and or political issues, but I do
Okay.
want to sprinkle in poems that actually try to have like some fun here and there, so it's not all depressing, all this heavy thinking. But I know we currently live like in a different era where it's no
Mhm.
longer it's no longer worrying about like a bad fan mail. It's now worrying about like these like a very toxic parasocial relationship with your
Mhm.
fan
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
know sometimes worry me. Like excluding like the fact of just all the identities that I just inhabit in general that already makes me like a target to begin with.
Mhm.
I know sometimes like as I try to hype myself up, I'm always just telling myself, am I ready to if I do manage to garner such a fan base of people, will I know how to handle them? Am I gonna ride this wave just in the name of saying I've been an artist regardless of like, how my entire life? Am I really gonna let like a couple of people who do not know how to properly behave stop me from actually saying, hey, I got something out there in the most professional way possible?
Mhm. That's right. Yeah, I'm so glad you unpacked that just the way you did. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of times we shrink down from taking a stance on who we are, and being our authentic self. And so our writings don't reflect our real passion. It can just be kind of, I'm going to put something out there, but I'm going to mold it in such a way it won't offend somebody. And then I like the fact that you said a few people, it only takes one criticism sometimes to change your whole trajectory of where you want it to go. And you can give 5,000 people praising you, and that one criticism can almost make you shut down. I remember that happened to a writer, but we're going name this now, and I hope I can get him back into the swing. He was really, really good. And then after a while, he started feeling as if he was writing sort of the same thing over and over about Black Revolution, this and that. He really was powerful, had some really good stuff, but he started questioning whether or not he should be more, about romance or something like that. You could just tell it. And somewhere along the line, he kind of just, and I don't know what was said to him or what happened that, kind of shut him down. But no, brother, this is your lane. This is what this is your passion. And embrace it. Just, do you. But he was having a hard time with that. But anyhow, I'm just glad that you came on tonight so that you can share. Having said that, you did mention AXO.
That is correct.
How many years were you in AXO?
Um, for I want to say starting sophomore year to the point of graduation, I always tried to submit something through AXO. It was most for the most part. I want to say it was like around. I'm putting in so much brain work. Sophomore
Mm-hmm.
year, sophomore year, I want to say where I got introduced to Photoshop and I just started to make these very beautiful edits. Like
Mm-hmm.
I made a name for like myself as you can look at some like as people will look at it and they'll just be like, well, I mean, it's cute, but what's so impressive about it? Here's the trick though. Every little detail that you see was its own layer, its own texture. I went through the hassle to say we're gonna essentially hand draw a Photoshop image.
Mm-hmm.
And while it did get praise, it wasn't really until I want to say around the time that I submitted poetry and I actually got my silver award that I actually have portraits that won.
Mm-hmm.
But that was
Yeah.
actually mostly because like they could not really know where to place me because it was art, but they cannot really say they had many people who actually expanded beyond Photoshop, beyond just hey, I put SpongeBob in Call of Duty. It's rare to come across someone who was like, no, I'm gonna try to make an art piece all
Yeah.
the way
Mm-hmm.
through the methods of just what Photoshop can do.
So tell me, what years do you remember the years that you participated in AXO? Or the last year that you participated or whatever?
That would be back in 2019, sir.
Yeah, I figured that. Okay, yeah. So I've been a judge, and actually I've been head of the judging committee since 2013. And as you started talking about the Photoshop and all that, I remember we started having those conversations about where did you place these pieces? Okay. And were you over at John Harris High School? Is that where the competition took place? I
Yep.
remember distinctly. Yeah. It's amazing, man. Isn't this something? Wow. But yeah, so anyhow, I'm still with him. Mr. Cobble Brunson. I hope you remember that name. He's the head of everything. And Damali Brunson, Mr. Molly. And because she was an India school district administrator at the time that you were there. So anyhow, we're having AXO this year on April the 13th. That's when the actual competition will take place over at John Harris High School. And then 2 weeks from that date, we will have the results and tell who, is going to win what medals and all that kind of stuff. And this year, the gold medalists will go out to Las Vegas, Nevada, just to let you know.
Am I able
Yeah,
to participate?
listen, would you like to be a judge?
Hmm.
Or
When did
would
you
you
say
like
it was?
well, it's April the 13th. Here's the thing.
Okay.
We also need, leading up to the competition, we need people that will be almost like mentors, help to guide some of our poets and writers, not to change their work, but to encourage them, to bring it out more, to, express themselves better, to maybe craft it a little bit better. So we're looking for, that person, which I call a mentor, judges the day of the competition, and then also for the gold medalists who will go on to the nationals. And last year we took 16 young people, 17 qualified, but we took 16 because one decided they didn't want to go to we went to Boston, Massachusetts, and they, there was something was going on. But man, what a wonderful competition last year. So we're looking for, yeah. So yeah, the answer is yes, you can participate. We'll talk about how you can participate, okay?
Okay, but I could definitely say I would also be interested. If I cannot participate, I can also be interested as like a mentor, as honestly,
That
you're
would be
just reading like
wonderful.
my mind. Like I
Mhm.
want to be that person to someone. Just say, trust me, it is a lot. Like no matter just how sociable or just confident of like person you are, to just expose like who you actually are, how you actually think. But I am telling you, it is going to benefit in like the long run.
Yeah.
I want to
Yes.
take like time to actually transition into a question that you asked like a while, like how was like my poem like received in terms of
Mhm.
like as of late, and honestly even back like in high school. While it was very much mixed, it was hard to say that there was anyone who ever particularly hated it or actually wanted me to stop. There was
Mhm.
an idea. I would just say at the bare minimum, my biggest flaws was just trying to make sure I had a clear idea,
Mhm.
because a big attribute of like my writing is I like to use references, whether they
Okay.
be personal, public domain, pop culture, and I always try to
Mhm.
squeeze them in like a way to explain things that are either hard to explain or what I think might actually help land a emotional or comedic punchline. But of
Okay.
course, people only know so much, and I mean, if most like the references are relatively personal, they could kind of piece together what you're trying to think about, but still they're going to be lost. So it could be a really great poem,
Mhm.
but you have to work on making sure like it's still accessible, which I will say was the biggest thing I've grown to, at least
Mhm.
definitely as of now, and especially with the current poem that I read today. Feels though I've gotten better at making sure that regardless, you can follow the message, you can still get across what I wanted to say.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you just touched on something that most writers, all writers, I'm sure Neil could relate to this, and that is that, you want to use references and things, but you do want audiences to kind of understand and kind of get it. At the same time, you can't expect everybody to get it, because a lot of references are what we call experiential or cultural. It has a backing to it, and not everybody may be exposed to that. So, we can unpack that even more. But the point being, that's a very good point. We started talking about writing. We have a lot of things coming up. Let me say this also. One of the features of coming on a Friday night is that Brother Chris Thomas, who let you in, I think you meant Pastor Thomas. He always puts up, some outstanding videos for us. He generally pulls up about maybe 4 that we can, call on. So I'm going to actually call on one tonight, right now, and do our first video of the night. And it's always a surprise to me as it is to everybody else. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Page Meets Stage is proud to welcome to the Bowery Poetry Club, Falou.
10 things I want to say to a black man. 1. There has always been this awkward hue of brown that I love about you. The admirable transparency of your chest. Sometimes at night we lay. I watch the slaves hang themselves. Even they are aware that only you can bear such a burden. 2. I watch you. On the sacred pew seats of the A train, legs ajar, feathered noose around your neck, my breath on your Adam's apple blowing in sin. I ain't never been ashamed of what we do in the dark. 3. There is something about the skin of a black man that would make a woman squeeze herself into a box of his DNA. Something about your eyes that makes me want to collect your tears for Kool-Aid. You are magic. Always magic. 4. Sometimes in the middle of the week, I pretend to be your lover, the heavy of you on my chest. Remove your suspenders, heels on. I wore a dress for you. I said a prayer for you. I unpinned my hair for you. I crossed my legs for you. I am silent for you. And you, well, you look beautiful all the time. And I know that beautiful is a woman's word, but you are beautiful. 5. You catch me staring. My eyes bleeding through you, pleading with the universe to touch not my anointing and do my prophets no harm. 6. Did I say that I too was magic? And that I'm just trying to make your valley of dry bones live. I'm just trying to hum you the psalm that has taken up residence in the scar of my C-section and climb the ladder of your spine. I'm trying to put the cartilage back into your knees. Brother, I would clean my house for you. Run in the rain for you. I mean, do you know what happens to a black girl's hair in the rain? But this is not about pride or greed or lust or envy, but about sacrifice and sacrifice alone. Did I say that I was from a different breed of magicians? 7, promise me that you would not promise things a man should not unless he is in fact a man. Example, do not promise me your heart, your last name, monogamy, poetry. Do not promise me the truth and then lie, because I will set your valley of dry bones on fire. Did I say that I was from a different breed of magicians? 8. Women are silly and emotional. If in fact you find a woman that is serious and emotionless, she is insane. 9. Do you remember how small you felt the first time you stood beside the ocean? How the mist from the waves wrapped around your neck like the hands of a former lover, the breaking tide against your forehead, the massage it gave your brows. Well, I've got those hands. Long fingers that will stagger around your eyes. I tell you, the smell is a mixture of want and need and salt and tears, like ocean and lake, a sea of wet. I swear to God, I hope that I remind you of water, of purity, of baptism. 10. You can swim, can't you?
Really good. Really passionate.
Very good. I'm telling you. And I love the voice and the use of the voice. You know, her inflection, you know, she has style, her own style. And she told the story in 10 parts. That was pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
Man, that was very awesome.
Mhm.
And you're touching on the things, a couple of things that really struck me. She's like, you know, because you're looking at poetry, and that's like anything in poetry, and when somebody's delivering something, whatever it is, a book, whatever, you're always listening to the word.
Mhm.
Words are very, that's what it's all about. It's the word. And, you know, squeeze into his DNA.
No, that one
I
gave
mean,
me
that's
the
powerful,
chills.
man. You know,
Yeah.
that's squeeze. And then his tears as Kool-Aid.
Now that's how you use a proper stereotype.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
powerful. That's powerful stuff. I mean that's delivering a
Mhm.
message, an impact. And that's what it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
about. I mean, it's impact, because the words bring a vision, brings
Mm.
feeling.
Yeah,
That's what makes it all real.
yeah.
That's the key of artistry and whatever you're doing, music, whatever, painting, whatever it is, that's what an artist does.
Yeah.
Makes people feel. And that
And she
piece, that
clearly,
woman put there, so
yeah,
powerful.
she's a performance poet. And she didn't
Yeah.
move. You notice that she had very little body movement. She just used her voice.
Very little. Just deliver the message, man. And got
Delivered it,
10
man,
things.
with style.
She really praised the black man up to a height, man. I mean, that's a video that I would like to have forever somewhere. I need to have that
There you go.
forever.
But let me say hello to Nanette Swanson. Nanette, how you doing? You're muted right now. Yeah, you got to mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, there we
you
go.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I was just laughing.
Did you happen to see that piece that we just aired?
Most of it, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And I said, okay, I don't know if I'll ever give a man that much.
What?
And I was listening to you guys. I said, oh, they men. They all excited.
What are you talking about?
Listen,
Now you come
It
on here
was too
starting
much.
stuff.
It was too much, too much.
I know too much. Sin, get us in, get us in.
I'll just say, listen, guys have needs, okay? That was a very encouraging speech. And it
Yeah,
was
I'm
beautifully
sure for
said.
you guys.
Listen, I did not say it was going to go both ways. I just said it was a good, encouraging speech.
There you go.
Right. You said you wanted to pin that on your wall.
You look at Neil glowing. Look at that light he
Yeah,
got
I
shining.
heard
Come
Neil.
on now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was, I praise the black woman all the time.
Yeah.
And in my works and in my writings, I mean, I praise her all the time without question. And that's powerful. This is just powerful to hear her deliver those messages about the black man, and it was just,
Yeah.
it was just very, very, very enlightening. Very something that's really needed, man.
And it felt authentic. It
yeah,
felt like
very
she
authentic,
man,
man. That just got me.
And
on
I'm sure she was real. I'm sure she was real about it. And I'm sure you guys, I mean, you just ate it up,
Yeah.
Yeah, we ate it up.
Right.
Yeah, we ate that up. We ate
It's
that
all
up.
right. It's all right. You men do need to be praised. And it's nice to know that there are still some black women out there that feel that way.
That's
about
right.
Black man.
And we know we can count you as one of those black women, right?
What she say about the black skin or something? She said something.
She said, yeah, something. She was smoking. She reminded me a lot of Jill Scott.
Oh,
Jill Scott started off as a poet and down in Philadelphia at the Gallery, what was that black art shop? I was going to call, well, the Gallery is the whole mall, but there was a black art shop. And that's where Jill Scott, she, would you say, grind her teeth, bit her teeth, whatever she did. But that's what she developed as a poet. And she had that style.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Jill Scott do poetry?
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
I love her. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, she's powerful. She's good. Yeah. Now, more of an actor, singer that,
she's a genuine person.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I got a chance to catch excuse me, Amanda Gorman. I just talked about Amanda Gorman. I said I've heard much from her in the last, year or so. And here she popped up on one of the late night talk shows, and she did a poem with a guy who was world-renowned cellist, and she brought the house down. She is really a word craft, a person. She was the one who did the poem. For anyone who doesn't, I think we all know who she is. But anyone who doesn't know, watching on Facebook, she did Joe Biden's inaugural poem. And also she's a graduate of Harvard University and just really well known for her work. So it was good to see her resurface. And then Kwame, he has that book out called This Is My Honey, which features 150 African-American poets, but he also has a new book out, another one. I'm like, this guy, come on now. But anyhow, that's more of more of a children's book, but a thick children's book. So I'm not sure about that particular one. But This Is My Honey is something I hope to purchase this weekend because he's really lifting up, like I said, 150 African-American poets, some known and some unknown. But we can all aspire to that. Anyhow, good stuff. Nanette, did you have anything that you wanted? Oh, by the way, a couple things. One, thank you, Nanette, for coming out last Saturday to the Black History Program sponsored by the Writers Wordshop. And your presentation, your singing is always fantastic. Thank you so much. And I saw you dancing too. I saw you get up
Yeah,
there.
that lady grabbed me by the arm, pulled me up there.
Yes, she did.
I said, "Does she know how old I am?"
But you danced well. You were doing it, and then she wouldn't let you sit down. You tried to
Yeah,
make your way back over to the chair.
it's like riding a bicycle, dancing.
Yeah.
That's what I did back in the day.
That's right. There you go.
You don't forget.
There you go. I could tell. But I was excited for those young ladies that were part of the African dance, troupe.
Yes.
She said that she's from Nigeria. The sister, her and her husband, and they go to the same church we go to and everything. And so she said that these were all young ladies that were just African American kids in the neighborhood, and she taught them the African dances, and they did a great job for the first time out. I mean, they really did a great job. So hats off to I know her first name is Teresa. That's her American name, but it's a much longer African name, and I'll just leave it like that. Sister Teresa and her husband. Thank you so much for what you did. We do have another program coming up. We have an Easter egg hunt coming up on March the 30th, I think it is. There at 900 South Arlington Avenue. We'll get the flyer out to you. The flyer is out already. Brother Chris, I don't know if you've seen the flyer. I tried to send it to you. I hope that you got it. But if you haven't, you can bring it up. I'd appreciate it. It's the Easter egg hunt. Sponsored by the Writers Wordshop and Life Esteem. We're looking for poets. Hello, somebody. Hello, Sin. Looking for poets. Hello, Sin. And it's going to be a wonderful program. It's our second one. Last year we had over 200 young people come out with the, getting Easter eggs and all the candy and all that. And this year it's even be better. Nanette's out there shopping already. And then Nicole. Nicole's out there shopping already.
Yeah,
Getting some
Nicole.
things done. Nicole is making it happen. Nicole Wilkerson, and she is our events planner, and she just does a wonderful job. So hats off to Nicole. But anyhow, I want you all to come out. I forget the time. If Chris, if you find the flyer, you can bring it up. I'd appreciate it. If not, I think it's a 12 to 5, if I remember correctly. But we'll get that straightened out. We have plenty of time to talk about it. And then we have some other things coming up in April. It's Black History Month. Poetry Month. And also we're going to have our first annual, and we've had one before, awards banquet and retreat. There's Central Penn College. And so we're hoping everybody to come over and support, the program. Juneteenth, we will have a program. Brother Chris is on it. Look at this. There it is. Okay. And that's the Easter extravaganza. You see it says free event. It's going to be the, let me see, 12 noon to 5 p.m., like I said, on March the 30th, out at 900 South Arlington Avenue. It's going to be outside if the weather permits. I hope that it does, because last year we had a ball out there, and the kids really showed up, and parents showed up, getting their kids involved in, we had a big old bunny. Thanks to my granddaughter. She did a fantastic job. I'm going to see if I can coax her into doing that again. She might be like, man, I'm getting that suit no more. But anyhow, we had a great time, So yeah. But thank you, Chris. Thank you, Brother Chris. By the way, Brother Chris, can you come on for a second? Can you just reveal yourself if you have a second?
Sure.
There was a wonderful event that took place. Okay. There was a wonderful event that took place last Sunday.
Sure, in Dayspring.
Ministry.
Sure,
Say it again, sir?
congratulations, yes, to yourself and to all those that were honored
Well,
for
let's talk
boots
about
to
your
the
mother.
ground and the wonderful, yes, community job that everyone has done. Yes, I had a great time. James Lyles really puts on a great program and
He
presentation.
does. He
Yes, he
does.
does.
But your mother was Bishop Roberta Thomas was honored, and that's Chris
Yes,
Thomas's mother, and she truly deserved it. Just a great lady, and she has, what's the name of her church, Chris?
it's Fountain Gate Church and Ministry,
Fountain
sir.
Gate Church and Ministry. Okay, but anyhow, she's been doing a tremendous work. Very, sort of like a quiet mentor to a lot of pastors, someone who knows how to do it, and also just has a wonderful spirit. But anyway, Chris's mother was honored, and I just wanted to acknowledge that, along with many other people, like you said. But it was a great event. And there you go. That's Chris's mother right there, Sister Roberta Thomas, and his brother Chris, as you can see, and brother James Lyles, who has Youth 10 Times Better, has been doing this for over 30-something years. Okay, this is Mr. and Mrs. Thomas. That's a great picture. And there she goes. Yeah. And so anyhow, that was well deserved. And that's brother Lyles right there, James Lyles, in the fantastic blue suit.
Yeah.
Not get the boy
Yep.
credit. He always got something flashy to wear.
It is a statement.
Yeah, smoking. Him and his wife both. His wife is always sort of like the silent partner, but she's very much in that as well. And I forget her name, but she's a beautiful lady and beautiful spirit. So hats off to both James, Mr. and Mrs. Lyles, Reverend and Mrs. Lyles, and to all the work that they do. And I'm telling you, James, he has about 20 different programs he's kicking out there, and he supports everybody, from bicycles to candies and foods and all that stuff. It's just a great thing. So, and that's me looking down at that's my wife, Pat, standing next to me. Pat, come up. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Great time. Wonderful church too. Beautiful church and everything. So anyhow, thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
the singing was fantastic.
It was really good. It was
Yes.
really good. Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of energy, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah. It
Oh
was
my
good.
goodness. Now I will say though, I have to make one, not to be critical, but the band was out of sight, right? And they played
yeah.
behind everybody. But then when they brought the singer out, they're supposed to be one of the singers. Yeah, I said, wasn't that? Wait a minute. What the? She was just not on their level. I thought, what happened here? The other singers were great. I mean, but I just thought she was just okay. Maybe she was nervous. I don't know what happened, but because that band was really they're
Oh, yeah.
well traveled. They've been behind some real professional people. They've done big shows, and I just thought to myself, And so anyhow, but I heard other comments too. People like, okay. So not everybody's destined for the big stage, and I just thought that was kind of a miss. So I just had to say that publicly. I'm sorry. Don't want to be critical, but I'm saying, come on, y'all, come on. Anyhow, good night, great night. Let's get back to the business at hand. It is now about a couple of minutes after 8 o'clock. We have a very special guest on tonight. Goes by Sin, C-Y-N, Frazier. And Sin, we're so glad to have you. Sin is a graduate of Sci Tech High.
Oh, okay.
That makes me proud right there, but also of Shippensburg University. Even though I went to Westchester, I can still honor Shippensburg, I love good old Shippensburg. Yeah, and a majored in, tell us again what your major was, English, and you had a minor in art. Is that right?
Yep. Major in English, minor in art.
Okay. And
When did you
using that
graduate?
now? You're a recent graduate, is that right?
Yep. Graduated last year in May. I believe
Oh,
May
okay.
6th.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Because
tell us a little
my
bit about what you do.
granddaughter went there, but she graduated she's 25 now, so about 6 years ago. Anicia Swanson. I don't know if you know her.
That sounds very familiar. I feel that I probably did. You'd have to show me a face, and I would be like, I know that girl. Yeah, she got me through.
Yeah. That's all right. Yes. So, what was I gonna ask you? Oh, so what are you doing now? Since you get ready to put out a book of poetry, tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days.
So, I'm not working on poetry. I am currently working for the Youth Advocate Program. I'm in the IT department. I love it there.
All right.
I generally have no complaints. I'm
That's
struggling.
great.
I'm struggling a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because here you're like, what are the different ways I could just describe what I do? Long story short, by the time it's been 5 years past, I would have already been a master at all things computer.
All right. Fantastic. Good. You teach me something, because I'm real basic when it comes down to computers. I'm sorry.
Trust me, it is a time. Listen. It'll be like a learning experience for both of us. We'll have to get some popcorn. It's gonna be a whole trial and error session.
Did you go? Okay. Unbelievable. Nana, did you have anything you wanted to read tonight or anything you wanted to share?
Well, I had started this in 2021. I never really finished it because there are a lot of sayings out there. There's a lot of cliches or whatever. And I had started writing it, so it's pretty short.
Okay.
It says, "Say what?" With the question mark. When a Christian that knows Christ asks you to pray for them, share a situation or a problem with them, just pray. They're not asking for your advice all the time or what you would do. Just zip it and pray. Say what? When I was little, my mother used to tell me, clean behind your ears for the dirt. Do you think kids today have dirt behind their ears? Say what? I don't know if mothers still tell kids to clean behind their ears or not. My mother would say to me, a hard head makes a soft tail. What? That didn't make sense to me. Mom would say, don't touch that stove, it's hot. So you touch it. What? What makes people think they can solve somebody else's problems and they can't even take care of their own problems?
Ooh, cutting deep. Okay.
There you go.
You ever been around somebody that knows everything? They have all the right answers, they think. Can tell them, you can't tell them nothing. So just be quiet. Don't argue. Just let them be right, even if they're wrong, and just walk away in peace. And the last one is, my mom used to say, stop that crying before I give you something to cry for. Say what? Those are some of the
Now,
sayings.
you said you
Find a
didn't finish
nickel.
that. Yeah. Keep rolling with that. That's pretty good stuff. That's good thought-provoking stuff, Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can come up with some more because
Oh, yeah.
That's my thought anyhow. What you guys
Yeah.
think?
Anybody ever tell you they're gonna knock the black off you?
Always. My mom says she would kill us before God gets the news. I'll kill you before God gets the news. I'm like, how's that possible?
Oh my goodness.
I don't really know what you're thinking. What you talking about, woman? I'll kill you before God gets the news.
They were serious. And you took
That's
them
the real
serious.
tip.
You
Yeah,
took them
knocking
serious.
the black off you. Come on now.
Ooh,
Crazy. What parents would say. Yep.
I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of people called out right now. That's all I gotta say. You definitely were not holding back.
And I like the whole question. Say what? That's
Yeah.
something you can really roll with. I like that. Yeah, that could be
And
almost a whole
we
routine.
really did pull the dirt out from behind our ears. We had a lot of dirt piled up behind our
Oh,
ears.
you ain't joking. This is a comedian. I forget his name. A big guy. He talks about that too. How nasty the ears can be and all that kind of. I'm like, what? But he made a lot of sense after you listen to him. It was comical. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Wow.
Mm.
Anything that's coming up, Sin and Nanette, I know that they'll probably be coming back in. He turned his camera off for a minute. But anything that's coming up that we need to know, I saw with Sweet Honey in the Rock. I believe on the 13th. Let me see. It's a Friday night, so maybe it's the 15th of this month or something like that. But they're going to be down in one of the local colleges. Is it Franklin or Marshall? Someplace close by. And are you familiar with Sweet Honey and Rock, Sin?
No, but they do sound fun.
Yeah, they're a black women's singing group, and they used to sing a cappella, and now they have put a little bit more music to their presentations. But they would sing about freedom and different things. It's almost like poetry to song, and they're real powerful. And they were all highly educated, and they kind of came together. And over the years, they've changed members. People have moved on, died, whatever. But it's a powerful force. So it's like folk singing to the revolution. And so you really want to check them out sometime. Sweet Honey in the Rock is all that. Really enjoyed them. Yeah. They were here at the Forum years ago, and I was able to do a poem for their presentation, and the forum was literally packed out that night. It was for the I think it was the Central Pennsylvania Rape Crisis Center was doing a fundraiser, and they brought in Sweet Honey to Rock, and the community really turned out for them. So I was glad to be a part of that.
So
But yeah,
where's it going to be, Nate?
well, let me see. I see Brother Chris. There it goes, right there. Chris, my man. He's up on it. Thank you, Brother Chris. It's Friday, March the 8th. Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
it's in
That's next week.
Carlisle.
That's next Friday. What? But it's at the Carlisle Theater, Sweet Honey Rock Live at Carlisle Theater. Ooh. And yeah, I mean, I've seen them every time they've come in this area, but that's one I might have to miss. Isn't that something?
Oh, that's at 8 o'clock at night.
8 o'clock at night, yeah, Carlisle Theater. But if you can go, I'm telling you, they're well worth it. You know,
If I had a driver, I don't like driving at night anymore.
so
Too
yeah,
much.
no, it's that's really a thing these days. Even for myself, I'm like, we go down to these events, whether it be Carlisle, York, whatever, and you come back at night, you got to be careful. You know, you really
It's not
do.
safe out here.
Say it again.
No, I would say like, yeah, because it's not safe out here these days.
No, that's not safe. You're right. Absolutely. People, especially if people are drinking, you never know when a drunk driver is going to come out of nowhere, I'm telling you. Hey, listen, by the way, have you ever been in Baltimore? They have the, I think I may be saying it wrong, the Stage Playhouse. I think something Stage. But anyhow, they have some excellent plays. And the reason why I'm bringing them up is because we discovered them a few years back. A number of plays that are on their way to Broadway go through Baltimore. Through this I think it's like the Front Stage or something like that. But anyhow, we just kind of discovered them. We saw the Temptations there, Donny Hathaway's play. Just so many. The one called something of a black man's brain or something like that. The Thoughts of a Black Man, I think it's called. And that ended up on Broadway. But it's well worth it. It's only an hour and a half away from Harrisburg. It's well worth the drive if you get a chance to go down. So check them out. I'll try to get the exact title. I don't know if Chris can look it up, or maybe someone on that cell phone can look it up. But it's in Baltimore, and I think the title something Stage is in it. And you want to keep a track of them because they're bringing a lot of black plays that are on the way to the big way. What they call it, the big Broadway way, whatever it is. But really good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring that up. We have some venues, by the way, Sin, where we always, anytime we have a program through the Writers' Workshop and Life Esteem, we try to include poets. Last week was no exception. We had Doris Washington read some poetry. I read a poem, and I don't know who else. There was maybe another person too. But anyhow, Nanette sang for us. So we try to always have the arts as a part of no matter what we do. And on the 30th of March, we will, like I said, have our Easter egg program, Easter egg hunt program, whatever. But we will have poets at the microphone and all that stuff. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you come out. And Nanette always has a standing invitation anytime she wants to sing.
I wish I could have predicted all this because it's funny. I wrote a poem that would have fit every single thing that came after my poem, but I held back because I know we possibly have like some young people here, and I did not know what words would be too much or not for them. So I was like, let me go safe with like this new one.
Okay. Well, if you have something you'd like to read right now, I know some people haven't heard you because they're just getting on, but would you like to do another piece? And then I'm going to ask Neil if you want to share something else again. And then I love that piece you read. The say what? I like that. You need to really keep working on that bad boy. Do say what part 2? Say what part 3? You like the movies where they just keep running down to No, you have some good thoughts on that. Yeah.
I had 2 announcements, so Nate. One's with for seniors that's not doing anything during the day. I go to Salvation Army, and we have like a schedule that today we did from 10 to 2. 10 to 12, and we were celebrating women, powerful women, Black women, amazing women, so, and anybody can come out and share. And then on Monday, we're going to have the Iron Chef class there. And then on Wednesday, I don't sign up for everything. I'm not doing the Wildwood Park walk. That's 12:33. But we have a book club. That's going to be on next Thursday from 1 to 3. And then we have a praise and a prayer and praise, senior resources. Anybody wants to bring out that it's, we're going to the gamut on the 17th, from 2 to 4:30. That's for the Pride and Prudent.
Okay.
And then we have puzzles that we do, as they have a Zumba Gold, March and April birthday parties. And it's always, they always have supply food for us. So any seniors that are sitting around the house or just don't know what to do with themselves, call Salvation Army and ask for Sylvia and get the schedule, and they can just come out there for an hour or two,
Good stuff.
And then the
You don't
other
have the number by any chance, do you?
Huh?
You don't have a phone number by any
Yeah, I
chance?
have the number.
Okay.
Sylvia's number is 717-233-6755. And then it's extension 167. But if you just say the name Sylvia, they'll know who to direct you to.
Read that number one more time so people grabbing those pens and pencils. I know someone's probably trying to write that down.
Yeah, it's at the Salvation Army. It's on 29th Street. The big new Salvation Army has been there, I guess, a couple years now. They have a food bank there. They have things for children and like a daycare. So yeah, they have prayer and worship services. So yeah, find out the schedule and you can call the number 717-233-6755, extension 167. And the girl's name is Sylvia. So we always have a good time. We meet new people all the time,
Good.
Have conversation. Because there are a lot of seniors out there that are lonely and don't have, we since the COVID, we're not getting together as much and all that stuff. So
tell them come on here sometime too. They can come and enjoy some poetry and even write some poetry. Invite some of them out sometime. We'd love to hear from them. You'd be
we're doing
surprised.
the book
By the way,
club.
let me say this very quickly. We
Okay.
just lost Anne-Marie Louise Weaver.
Yes.
Anne-Marie was a senior citizen and one of the real fine poets in this area. She was a sister in the church who was a big part of the Citywide Revival Gospel Choir. Every time Citywide Revival took place, she was part of that. And I know she was very active in her own church. And she was a chaplain. She went to our chaplain's training program, and she enjoyed being, a certified chaplain. So we lost that voice. And if you wanted to have somebody that was funny, that could keep you laughing with all kinds of those little things she put up on Facebook and stuff, she was hilarious. But what a great poet, though. And so, hats off to her. And I see a picture. There she
There
goes.
she is.
Beautiful picture, yeah. And she was good. I'm telling you, she
She
has some
sang
great
with the
time and stuff.
Citywide Revival Choir. She was
Yes,
always
she
on
did.
that.
Always, yeah. And so I want to do a tribute to her. I don't know when her funeral will take place. I got to find that out. But I want to do a tribute here on the Facebook, live show that we do on Friday nights, because she really was, until she got sick, very much involved with us for years. So anyhow, we'll do that. And Weaver, Ashe. Okay. Hey, Sin, we were talking to you about possibly doing some poetry, and I think you pulled something up. Are you ready?
Yes. So, so this one is called, and it's called the Sinful Reflections of a Black Man with Tits, and that's Sin spelled CYN in the title. So, I am black, though I often wished I was white. They were often the poster child for the most heinous, depraved crimes, but could avoid telling their children that they were meant to be a perception, then die. I am black. That makes me the F word. I could be your hero. I could be your female dog, your villain, your mom. If the white man wants my head, I'll make a bigot proud, dismembered and mounted above a roaring flame. I am black, but I'm not alone. I found love and acceptance in the people who should want me as a playmat for their kids. At least that's what my mother told me. I love that woman, but it's clear that unhinged isn't but it's clear that unhinged isn't just a trait coined by the English department. I am earnest, but one day I will only be sinned. Like my gender, my future is a question mark that hides the rise and demise of a man who wanted to be white, who becomes who becomes the woman who fought for her mane.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So tell us the story of that. Tell us why you wrote that.
So I was taking a class on campus, and one of the students brought up the fact that when he was very little, his mom literally told him to just do two jobs. Just be black, and then when it's your time, go. And aiding that was the fact that the conversation was just based around like a discussion where marginalized people, like people of color, our future can be very much questionable because we sadly live like in a world where it's like we have to really account for so much that we have to really overthink and just take so much into consideration just on the basis of things that we either can't change or control, or we shouldn't have to change or control. So for this piece, I just wanted to make a poem that just kind of expanded on it, kind of gave like the tough reality of just what my situation is, regardless of who I am. But I wanted to also have it build up to an ending where it's like, despite the possibility that things could very much hit the fan, I still, considering what I've been through, where I am now, I still have optimism for better days ahead, finding my place, becoming who I am, and just believing that I still have a bright, shining future ahead of me.
And you do.
Absolutely.
How old are you? Can I ask?
Of course, I'm 23, ma'am.
23. Okay. Yep, you're just young.
Hey, let me say hello to Lazille Powder. I mentioned her earlier because Lazille, this is Sin, and Sin is a recent graduate of Shippensburg University here in Pennsylvania, and he also, is an artist. He minored in art as well as a poet. And I said, well, I know somebody else like that. That would be Lazille Powder, who has the Powder Room on Saturday mornings right here on The Voice. Welcome, Lazille. How you doing?
I'm good. Good night, everyone.
And
Hello,
Dan.
hello, hey, Lizelle.
Hi, Lizelle.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know what happened to Dan Snowden, but he was up there. You didn't see him. You didn't see him,
His
Nate?
name is there, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, I'm here. I just a call came in. Someone was asking about, I said,
No,
yeah,
I
we're
mean
on.
Dan
So,
Snowden. Dan Snowden was on.
Yeah, he's muted.
who's muted?
Dan.
Dan.
Oh, Dan. How you doing, Dan? Okay, if he's not muted, then maybe something's wrong with his, because he doesn't look muted, but he's not saying anything. But anyhow, we know he's there.
Yeah.
The invisible man. The invisible Dan.
There we go.
There you go. Dan, you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, can you hear me though?
Okay, there we
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep,
Okay,
we
very
hear you
good.
now. How you doing, man? Welcome to the
Thanks for yourself.
Wordshop. All right. Hey, we have a special guest on tonight, Sin Frazier, his first timer. And Sin is up and coming poet, and he's going to be published soon. That's his goal. And he, was willing to come on tonight. I'm so glad to have him. He just read a couple pieces for us. I think he read 3 pieces for us. And we're just glad to have him. And so I also wanted to introduce him to, he did meet Neil earlier as well as Nanette. And now he's just meeting for the first time, Lazille. Lazille, what's going on in your world? How's everything?
Well, I went to the funeral with my uncle back home, so I
Oh,
not
that's right.
came back
Yeah,
this
last
week.
week.
So
I'm sorry. Yeah. How did that go?
it was good. It was sad, but everybody Everybody was like, it was like a party because people didn't, it was just like a time of rejoicing. Everybody was just dancing and rejoicing.
Right.
I guess that's how he wanted people to be, to celebrate, you
Yeah.
know, not to be sad and crying. You will have a sad moment, but just to celebrate him. So I
Right.
guess this is what he wanted people to do.
Is
Yeah.
that the first time you've been back to Trinidad in a while?
In a while, yeah.
Yeah. How was it for you?
It was good. The weather is nice and sunny. I love it. I love the
Oh,
sun.
good.
But
Did
it
you
was
long to
really
stay
nice.
there? Were you?
Nah,
Yeah.
it was nice to see friends and family.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I was wondering if you get there, if we're gonna get you back. I said she may not come back. You know. I'm glad that you're back though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, I know hopefully you have something to read tonight as well as Brother Dan. I know Dan has something to read probably as well. And I know we only have another okay, we were moving towards our last half hour here. And I certainly want to get Sin to read something again, since he's our very special guest tonight. But would you like to read something, Azil? And then I'll ask Dan if he'll read something. And then we'll see whether or not,
Right.
Mhm.
All right, I wrote this evening. Actually, it's really how well the
That's a
funny it's
smile.
not really
You write every evening. You come on. I'm
Yeah,
like, how does she
good.
do it? My goodness, that's wonderful though. Go ahead. Mhm.
actually when I stayed by my aunt, my uncle's shoes is still there with the socks. So I told her I'm gonna write something about the shoes. So because it's just like memories, all his shoes is just lined up there and the socks all tucked in still. So I decided to write something. It may need a little more polishing up, but this is how it goes. I entitled it, His Feet Left, but His Shoes Stayed. Um
I love that title.
I watched my uncle's shoes from the distance as it rested neatly, all lined up at attention. The socks still intact. They were motionless because his feet will not be welcome again. His feet didn't say goodbye. They didn't have the time or the chance to enjoy the comfort and warmth that was enjoyed for years. I felt the sadness inside me as if losing my shoes to the world. What notes will he play as his socks laid there, waiting to join in with a lullaby, no mouth? In the days of his life, his shoes carried him as he surfed the waves of terrains and crossroads. His clothes, his energy, his style carried him to rest peacefully in his own cocoon, waiting to be transformed in another life, one day as they struggled to accept his departure. Everything in the room will be a memory, a sad one, but at times a happy moment with a smile. His shoes will be there, the socks all tucked in like a mother's arm caressing her baby to sleep. His pictures of memories that smiled at us, to live and cherish his artifacts. Leave the shoes. Remember his season of music, jazz and blues, as he danced in those shoes. They have rhythm. Remember his car as you mashed the brakes. His feet were there as his shoes stayed behind. His band played as his empty seat stayed, waiting for him, not knowing what to think. Is he coming? As emotions ran wild, the band choked up. Missing him, his shoes will not walk in. He didn't say much, but his move was smooth as his comfort with his smart TV on, as his comfort was his smart TV on news. Was his inner voice crying inside for help, knowing that he will be no more as he lay there. But he kept silent. Only his shoes knew that his time will be short. They felt the separation. His shavers, creams, and medications still there, not wanting to leave, but enjoying his memories. As the night draws in, the comfort she had is gone. Just the space of emptiness fills the room. She cries as she longs for the comfort that once made her whole. But his shoes stare at her. She stares back and smiles at his scent, like fresh flowers embrace her, and says, "It's okay, my love." As the shoes, they are still there. That's it.
Oh, good. That was good.
Oh, that's
Wonderful, wonderful.
So are you going to send that to his widow?
Yeah, I told her, but she said she don't think she could read it. She wouldn't be able to cope.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they know that you do poetry?
Yeah, I read one at the funeral.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
How long were they married?
Over 40 years, I think.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
nice. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
She is
Yeah.
I spoke to her last night, but she's hanging in there. She said she have her sad moments, you know, and you know, she have the moments where she's okay.
What about children?
Yeah, I have 2 grown children.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful tribute that you wrote. Real
Yeah.
nice piece. And I like the title too. I really do. That's powerful. Well,
Yeah.
can I get to Brother Dan? I know Dr. Snowden, and if you would like to share a piece with us as well, I want to make sure we get time in, and we have pretty good time right now, 25 minutes of. Dan, are you ready to do a piece?
Yes, sure am.
Okay. And if you can speak
Here's
up.
one of my earlier.
Huh?
Here's one of my earlier works called Waiting, and that's just I only wrote that one because it's more or less a pet peeve of mine. I just generally don't like to wait longer than I should. Anyhow, whether a coveted promotion or a time for some devotion, the need to wait on such matters can be a cause of much commotion. Wanting to have everything go right to ensure that all one's days are bright. The wait in reaching anyone's goals seems to take a whole lot of might. Waiting. Sometimes it can be a pain. Waiting can take a toll on the brain. Waiting. The activity is just such a drain. Waiting. When nothing happens, it seems to be in vain. It is often said that to those who wait, the good things will come. However, if this is true, then when do I get some? Waiting may not be a bad thing. It is often needed to balance the grind. Yet, when it takes far too long, it can drive one out of one's mind. So let's put an end to this waiting, as it sometimes is overrated. I'd rather have what I need to happen now so that I can keep reaching my goals unabated.
Oh, good, Dan.
Stuff. Yeah, yeah. Always the rhyme. I love it though. That's good stuff.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that.
Certainly.
Yeah. So I saw Brother Neil pop back in. Neil, I know your camera's off, but are you still with us? Neil may be doing something. You know, I'm always marveling. Neil has about 15 dogs. They breed dogs.
Oh my
Certain type of
goodness.
dog too. I forget what it is. So he's always busy. He always got
I
that.
didn't know he had that many.
Say it again.
I didn't know he had that many dogs.
Yeah, he has a bunch, he said. Yeah, he breeds them. Yeah. So, all right. So I know the Zill's just meeting you for the first time, and I'm sure other people just tuning in. Sin is a graduate of Shippensburg University and SciTech High here in Harrisburg. He's working on his first book of poetry. He's working through T-Dub Publishing, which is Terry Martinez, our official publisher as well. He told me that he participated in the AXO competition. By the way, Nanette Swanson is one of our judges for AXO, has been for a number of years. And so maybe some other people that, you know, sometimes come on, Ro Brady and others who act as judges. And since that he in 2019, I think it was, you had participated, I think the last time for AXO, something like that. But anyhow, yeah, and he did volunteer for, if I think I heard correctly, to be a mentor leading up to, the competition, and that's a great thing.
Good.
So
Yeah.
I will be putting out sometime tonight and tomorrow, this to all the young people in terms of if they need a mentor, we'll help them with that. But encourage them to get a mentor because the competition is about 5 weeks away, and so we need to, really put the pedal to the metal, make sure that things are sharpened up. And that's all categories. It doesn't matter if it's a science project or, writing a poem or performing a poem or something, because everybody, should have a mentor of some type. And last year we were able to get a bronze medal on the national level because of the last minute mentoring that took place for Dr. Thomas. I'm gonna mess up his name, but anyhow, he did Dr. Sterling Thomas did a fantastic job working with the young lady, asked some critical questions because hers was a scientific project, and he knew just what to ask her to get her to think and work on her project even a little bit more up until the last minute. And when we saw what won first place and second place, we thought, you know what, she probably could have won first place because I thought hers was as good or better than the others. But anyhow, it's all good. So that will take place on April the 13th over at John Harris High School. Anybody out there on Facebook land, if you're hearing about for the first time, students must be 9th grade through 12th grade. They have to be students of color in terms of, it was designed for African-American students. They've now opened it up for Hispanic students and there are actually some white students from other states who come and participate as well. So it is really a wide open competition. However, AXO stands for Afro Academic Cultural Technological Scientific Olympics. And it was started back around 1977 with the hope of getting more African-American kids involved in STEM. That area, according to, I forget the brother's name who founded it, and then the NAACP kind of took it up from him. But he wanted to have more of a presence of people of color being involved in the sciences and all of that. So anyhow, it now has 32 different categories. And if you want your young person to sign up, all you have to do is go online and go to NAACP Harrisburg AXO program, and you'll see that there's a beautiful website that's up and all the information that you need, how to apply, how to even by the way, there's another part of the competition which is an essay for young women. And Lupita Nyong'o, who is the award-winning actress who won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, and then she was in Black Panther and many other programs. She put up $500,000, $500,000 for 40 young women to receive a $10,000 scholarship. And we had 2 young ladies in the last 2 years win those $10,000 scholarships. They have to write an essay. And if the essay is deemed to be one of the top 40, they get a $10,000 scholarship. Plus they get a chance to be flown into the AXO competition, no matter where it is. And this year will be in Las Vegas, Nevada. And there you go. Okay, Morgan Marino. Okay, there you go. And that's you can see that's Damali Brunson and also Morgan. She's a student down at Milton Hershey School. And there you go. This is Lupita Nyong'o standing there in the beautiful purple, I think that is. And so and there's some of the students. In fact, this young lady that's in the black, that was right down from her, there's a lot of the students that participated a couple years back in the AXO. And the gentleman in the middle there, well, now you see Calvin Brunson to your right there, to the left, to my left anyhow. And I'm standing next to him, and then the president of the NAACP. There's some of the students, and each student between 9th grade through 12th grade, like I said, can participate, okay? And it costs nothing to participate. You don't have to, sign up or anything like that. I think we were I believe that's not Boston. That was in Atlantic City, I believe. Might have been Boston. I think that was Atlantic City. Anyhow, great time. And hats off to Calvin Brunson, who has been running this for years, since the 1990s. And he raises tremendous funds, and the students never have to pay a dime. At least thus far, they hadn't had to pay a dime in order to go. Yes, people step up, like Milton Hershey, Hershey Foods, Harrisburg School District, different groups have stepped up for years now and made this thing possible. So congratulations. And Sin was one of the people who actually participated in that for a number of years. Good stuff, Sin. Yes, indeed. All right, so let me see. Sin, one more time. You're our special guest, like I said, and I know we're gonna, kind of run out of time. And the Zell bring up another piece. I want you to, do another poem. Dan, you two, be on deck. And then also,
All right.
and did you have another part you'd like to share? I know you shared some announcements, but did you have a writing or creative piece you'd like to share with us tonight?
No.
Again?
No. I got to catch
Okay.
up.
Okay, real good. No, it's all right. It's all good. Neil, did you have something you'd like to share? Yeah, you're still muted right now.
Yeah, I can share a scene. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ken. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can share a scene from the novel I'm working on,
Okay, why don't you
Rise
do
and
that?
Fall of the Fourth Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scene takes place in Texas. And it's what's going on at this time is that there's the coup that's taking place in America, and the militia it's a civil war actually taking place. And the militia are the people who are citizens, sort of similar to the MAGA movement.
Okay.
Inside the Austin home of a devout evangelical family, the father said, "We have to get to a safe zone." How? That's 2 miles away from the militia all around. The 14-year-old son interjected, "Dad is right. We can't stay here." The 17-year-old daughter said, "We should stay here and wait for the army. We'll get killed if we try to leave. They aren't harming white people who stay in the house." Her brother said, "Brooke, we live in a wealthy neighborhood. It's only a matter of time before those men come here to pillage. What do you think they would do when they see you?" "Nothing, because I look Aryan." "They don't care about that. Most of them are criminals, released from prison to serve the militia. They will rape you, and probably mom too. Dad is right. We need to get to a safe zone or die trying. We aren't safe here." "Where are we going to go? The militia see us on the street," the mother said. "I don't want to die in the street." Son said, "Better to die trying to escape than to sit and wait to die." The father eyed his son. "Winston, your mother has a good point. Where are we going to go when we're out there and the militia is chasing us? What happened to the faith and you and mom were always preaching? Haven't you lost my faith?" "I haven't lost my faith. I know Jesus will provide. He already told me what to do." His father curiously asked, "What is that?" "We can follow what the black people did." "What did they do?" "During the curfew, there were houses with only the porch lights on. That meant the house was a hiding place if you were being chased for violating the curfew. I'm sure they are still using that signal because black families need to get to a safe zone more than us." "But we're not black," his mother said. "They won't accept us." "Yes, they will. Black people aren't racist." "How do you know?" Brooke questioned. "I play basketball with them. I've been to their houses. I haven't invited them here because I know you and mom don't like black people." "It's not that we don't like them," his mother said. "I know some are good. Most of them are delinquent. We don't want you to get mixed up with the wrong ones. It's best to stay away from them." "Ma, are you listening to yourself? Do you realize what you are saying? That's a racist mentality and you don't even realize it." His mother slapped him. "Don't raise your voice at me, and don't tell me what I don't realize." The father stood in between. "Both of you stop. You're dividing the house, and a divided house cannot stand. Don't let the devil loose in this house." The son walked away and sat on the sofa. Stop there.
Mm,
Good stuff, man.
interesting.
I always like your writing. It's like you can see it. I always say it's like a movie. You write scripts. That's good stuff. Yeah. I like it. Any other comments?
You're definitely touching on like a real good talking point. I know I've had my fair share of conversations like, can Black people actually be racist, depending on how you define racism. I mean, my stance has always been just like the main takeaway from racism is just regardless of just who you are, just don't do it. Like, we cannot be the same people that can recognize the pointlessness, considering how regardless of who you are, what you are, every single person has their bad apples, every single person has their good apples. We are all equal in that regard. We can't just repackage it again and just say that it's in a better context because so and so is doing it, because no, you're still getting like the same outcome. The point is racism just should not be practiced. The point is you only should really judge someone if they've actually been an actual menace or problem or trouble. Outside of that, we're not perfect. We know that. But we still are living in like a time where just politics boils down to just like us like acting like, oh yeah, there's like just like this one perfect group of people. There's this one perfect group of gender. Like there's not. In mild, severe, whatever, we all have things that we could be better at. So I just never understood this idea that like, oh, suddenly there's like a reason like, to really like disavow like this one person.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your comments. We're going to keep on moving because I know we're going to run out of time. And I did promise Dazil and Dan if they could jump in. But good reading. Thank you, Brother Neil. Dazil, can you do a piece?
Okay, this one is called I Hear the Voices. I did this one last month, for Black History Month, but didn't get to recite it. So it goes like this. We are the echoes that buzzed inside our souls. We are the hope that runs deep inside. Our feet dragged, trying to reach the dream. The answers are written somewhere, but we look for it with wide eyes, tired eyes, our hands and knuckles torn by the system, a system that dragged us in chains. We still fight and speak out for justice. Where is our name? It's never written because of our silence. The pavements are feeling the pain as the blood flows, telling their stories. As shadows fall to the ground, they just step over us as they breathe, choked, and as their breath choked and vaporized. We can't forget the cries of the past. Martin tried, as his feet never stopped moving. Rosa didn't give up. Her hands was in the lion's mouth. They tried to chew her up, but realized her skin was tough. Placards, voices raised, hands in the air. Freedom, Black Lives Matter. But how much seeds we have sown? Do we put our ears in the dirt to get the answers from the dry bones? The ancestors rumble below, speaking to each other as their echoes rose up. It shook us. Don't just wait. Run and grab the answers. Don't let it get away. Run like the past leaders is on your back. No time to slumber. Wake up. It's drastic measures. Speak up, rise up, stand up, and fight. That's it.
It's good.
It's very good.
Very good. Well,
very good. It made me think of something. I was thinking of oh boy, I lost it. So, but anyhow, very good piece. Yeah. I just heard something just the other day when you said about rise up, and it was talking about wake up. This and anyhow, there's a parallel piece there. It'll come to me. 12 o'clock tonight when I'm thinking, oh, that's the part I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I'll call you.
It seems to be happening more and more.
Yeah, amen. Brother Dan, did you want to do a second poem?
Certainly. Here's one that was actually a subject of one of your earlier Writers Workshop events, and it's called, you were talking about the term I can't, and that gave me the idea to write the poem sometimes I can't can apply. It has been said often enough that I can't is just not needed. Yet even this negative phrase can serve as one to be heeded. I can, of course, is better than I can't in terms of most formalities, but the same matter of I can't may show some stark realities, whether being careless for fun or making sure mayhem commence. Somehow the phrase of I can't appears to make all the more sense. Others in the vein of I can't include a few obvious types, from blatant reckless behavior to following unneeded hypes. Perhaps some common sense is due, when laying a poor term to rest. In taking the pragmatic approach, sometimes the I can't route is best.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the serenity prayer? Knowing the difference between what you can and cannot control, right? What you can and cannot do.
Exactly.
That's a
the
powerful
idea.
piece, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, again, we have a lot of things coming up with the Wordshop. In October, we always do our storytelling festival, and we're doing more storytelling throughout the year. We're going to incorporate more of that in there, and we hope to have Mafelda Thomas from Philadelphia come up. She's the outstanding storyteller and stilt walker, and she's been with us many times. We're hoping to bring her in to do a full-blown, storytelling piece. I would love to get more connection with the keepers of the culture. We're hoping to make that happen, and we'll see what happens. We've had at least 5 or 6 poets from that group come up. They're one of the preeminent groups in the country out of Philadelphia, the keepers of the culture. And so they're right, literally 2 hours away. So we got to get them up here. We had a wonderful connection. I don't want to jinx it, but there's a group called the Children of Africa Band. I'm sorry, Children of Adams Band. And they have been here before. And there's a wonderful brother who was one of the founding members, it starts with a K, but anyhow, the brother's band. He's a good dude, and he's a storyteller, but he's helped create this band, and they've won awards now, and they've done all kinds of things. And they may have an opportunity to come to Harrisburg and perform for us, and we're looking at October. So we'll keep you posted on that, because it's a no lose situation. The way it's set up, they would literally be coming in here to perform for us. And they picked out 3 states that they can go to, and they decided Harrisburg with the Writers' Workshop might be a good fit. So we're going to see how that plays out. Don't forget, our biggest event of the year is always Kwanzaa. We do a pre-Kwanzaa program down at, this year we had it at Harrisburg's Camp Curtin Academy is what they call it. And so we hope to go back there again. I thought it was a slam dunk. It was a nice venue. The John Harris Gymnasium is larger, but we had seemed like a few more people attended, and also you didn't have to worry about steps and all that. It was just more accessible. So we'll see how that goes. But if you want to be a vendor, and I'll say that just to make sure anybody that's out there right now, for any of our programs, we set that up as well. The vendor fee is very low, and you will have an audience at all of our events. So look for something to happen every single month. From Mother's Day to Father's Day programs, MLK programs, Black History programs, Women's Day programs. We go on down the line, and again with storytelling and all that. So that's kind of where we are. We do come on every Friday night here on The Voice 17104 Harrisburg. I've been doing it for years now, and this is a great platform for Brother Chris, and I appreciate the videos. Brother Chris, can you bring up one more video for tonight? I don't know if you have anything else in the storage bin that might be appropriate to kind of take us out for tonight, and then we'll come back in and I'll say a proper good nights to everybody, and then thank again Brother Sin for being on, and we're going to encourage Sin to publish and all of that good stuff. Black Excellent Poem written by, it looks like Samantha Rogers. Okay.
What is Black excellence? It's you and it's me, displaying our talents for everyone to see. Black excellence is power. Black excellence is resilience, dominating many fields with our undeniable brilliance. Black excellence is inspiring. Black excellence is strength, chasing our dreams by any means or length. Black excellence is innovative. Black excellence is pride, recognition of our achievements gloriously magnified. Black excellence is outstanding. Black excellence is unstoppable, knocking down countless barriers to achieve the impossible. Black excellence is dynamic. Black excellence is breathtaking, being a role model for future stars in the making. Black excellence is you. Black excellence is me, striving to become the very best that we can be.
Very good.
Good stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple and very direct and very, very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Brother Chris. Appreciate that. Nanette, last word, anything for the good of the order?
I just got a message that they're gonna have Amory's funeral memorial service at Winfield's on Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
Okay,
That's
Wednesday,
when-
11 o'clock, Winfield, and Winfield's is down in, is
Stilton.
that in Stilton? Yes, on Front Street, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all
Mhm.
right. Yeah, so sorry to see the sister go. She was just a great spirited, gospel, just a great woman, let's put it that way, who loved the Lord. She really did love the Lord, and she, really just had a wonderful spirit. So we will support her there at the funeral on next Wednesday, and then also
11.
we will do something here at the Writers Workshop to support her. That's always been a tradition, by the way. Every time we had a poet who passed that was especially connected to the workshop, we always did a memorial to them, and we will make that no exception. And Marie certainly deserves it. So good stuff. Well, listen,
And I
God
do
bless
want
you
to say,
all. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say on Wednesday also at 7 o'clock at oh my goodness, in Stilton at Reverend Hampton's Church, Turner Memorial. The young
Okay.
people are going to be in charge this Wednesday for our Lent services. So they're going to
Okay.
do, any young people want to come out at 7 o'clock? Yeah, it's on Watson Street in Stilton.
Okay, great.
Turner
Thank you.
Memorial.
All right. Well, Sin, this is your first night on, and appreciate you coming on. And so, any last party words from you tonight?
It feels good. I'm not gonna lie, I was anxious, but I knew I wanted to get myself out there, and this is a very good way to start off. I thought the
Excellent.
atmosphere was nice. I got a lot of inspiration from from each person's poem. I'm happy.
All right. All right.
And I can only hope that y'all enjoyed having me on here tonight.
You
Oh,
sure did.
yes.
I did. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody did. In fact,
Yeah.
now here's what we do. You want to like the program on, Facebook, you can go to, The Voice 17104 Harrisburg, 17104.com, and, like and share it with your network of friends and people. And just get this out there as much as we possibly can so that people will see it, enjoy it, and want to know more about it. Lazille, are you on tomorrow morning at 11:30?
Yeah,
Okay, with the powder room.
yeah.
All right. Let me get my powder together. Makeup. Yes. But everybody check out Lazille Powder tomorrow, right here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg.com. And she will be on at 11:30 with another thought-provoking program. Also, we don't have on tonight Wendy Noche Onye, but I spoke to Wendy just yesterday, a great poet, as you know, and Wendy comes on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. right here on The Voice as well, from 7 until 8, I believe. And if someone wants to get a program on, Brother Chris, can you give us a quick 30 seconds on how somebody can be a part of The Voice?
Sure. It's very simple. Feel free, check us out on any social media platform at The Voice 17104 or thevoice17104.com, and now voicetv.org. Again, voicetv.org, or feel free, send us an email at thevoice17104@gmail.com. So thank you so very much, and have a blessed night.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you all for coming on, and thank you all for watching, and everybody have a blessed night. We'll see you next time here on the Writers Workshop.
Yeah,
Good night.
come back, Sim.
All
I
right.
enjoyed you.
Thank you.
You need some younger faces.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right now. There she goes.
I like that.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice.